Welcome back, site visit number 2 down here in Oxford Mills. A lot of progress has happened since last time we filmed. We have all our formwork up, braced, ready to go for the pour. So the way we do it is we've driven these rebar stakes in to brace the bottom of our formwork, and these are our brace backs on the top. And as you can see, they're rock solid. They could take way more force than they're going to. Importantly, we put our string lines up and squared everything up. Like I mentioned in the last video, we want to make sure that this wall is dead straight. It's easy to hide that with putting the wall on top and just keeping that straight, but we really want to make sure our formwork is just as straight as our finished wall. Our foam is underneath the formwork now, so they can go into the concrete. We're busy working on plumbing, and we'll add the foam on the inside. Afterwards, after we're all done, we have to scrape this all out, and we have to add 5 feet of foam on the outside to help us for frost protection. We don't want the frost to get under the slab and lift it at all for obvious reasons. And so we have to build this out. That'll all be happening in the next few months. Let me take you inside. So I can't read the writing, but these are all stakes for locations of the plumbing. Our plumber's working back there. We've been trenching for them. We've located each of the locations, each of the fixtures in their specific locations, staked them so we don't lose it, painted out where we're gonna run our trenching, and now we're pretty much done trenching now. The only thing left is a few little small areas, and our plumber's laying in pipe. We're hoping to get an inspection later this week, at which point we can cover everything, backfill it, put the foam on top, and then put radiant on top of that. It's important to make sure that we get these locations very precise. If they're out of line with each other at all, it's gonna force us to make decisions about how to keep our walls as straight as possible, which causes a lot of problems. So that's why we take the time now to do the layout properly, so that when we go to do framing, we're not trying to cheat walls in different locations to make sure that the plumbing can accommodate. One of the other things we've done, which we had done in the previous video, but we've cleaned it up a little bit, is these are slab thickenings. And so there's a load-bearing wall that goes right over the center of here, and it helps pick up the roof load above. And so these thickenings are going to remain. These aren't trenches that we've dug out just for plumbing or electrical, things like that. They're gonna remain and help make the slab thicker, same with along the perimeter, and really help give the strength necessary to carry the roof loads. So there is a major structural load here and along here, so that's why these trenches exist. You can also see here, it's another slab thickening, but there's also 2 posts to pick up the corners of the porch. And so you can see the foot, this is exactly where the footing goes. Center of point load is right there, and they're connected by a slab thickening, which we call a grade beam. There's some different names for them. So that's what this situation is here. So you can see it carries all the way along the porch, all the way to that side over there. So this is what a roughed in bathroom looks like. Sink, vent, toilet, and shower. Now we do our showers a little bit differently. These are all gonna be curbless showers in this house. And so there's no lip, there's no raised section for the plumbing. And so we have a special way of doing this to make sure that we can properly slope our shower drains into the floor. And so we're gonna prepare this after we put the foam on. But just remember this location for the next video. All right, so that's pretty much all I can show you for today. Electrician's gonna be here he's gonna be here tomorrow. So electrician's gonna be here tomorrow. He's gonna get his stuff in, and then next week we're gonna put the foam on top, start the radiant floor, so we'll pick that up then. All right, so we're back. It's a couple days later. The weather has changed a little bit, but it hasn't slowed us down too much. As you can see below me, we have a lot of foam on the floor. We've started laying our radiant flooring as well. So our plumbing's been tested, pressure tested, it's all passed. We're ready to go for that. And now we're just laying out all our hydronic heating. So we have a plan that's developed by our mechanical engineer. We lay this out according to the plan. We follow our loops. All the loops end up joining together in a central location. And eventually we'll be hooking up a manifold to all of these loops here, so supply and return. And eventually that'll feed from the boiler directly. There's only 1 boiler in the house, but there's actually 4 locations for the manifold, so we have to do additional lines over to those locations as well. Part of the work is to level off all of the stone to give it its final pass. And then we're sealing the foam with duct tape to create a vapor barrier, because we don't want any moisture coming in or going out of the concrete. So that's what we're working on here. You guys are doing a great job. So these are our slab thickenings that we were talking about last time. Now you have to think of this as a monolithic slab and not having footings on the outside. It's a different structural components because it's all poured at once. It's much easier for us to build, but also it gives it a lot more strength compared to a traditional footing and slab on grade. So that's what's going on here. We still run the radiant through, we still run our rebar in, everything's normal, like a normal slab on grade, versus a footing where you'd pour them distinctly separate and there'd be completely different components. So we've also got all our electrical in as well. So there's a couple floor boxes here in the living room. So we've run all our conduits to walls for that. And there's actually 2 panels in this house because it's so large. So there's a 400 amp service coming in. So we will have one 200 amp panel in the bedroom wing where we're gonna be running everything from to that location. And then we have another 200 amp panel in the utility room on the far side. So everything like the kitchen, the living room, the laundry room, the garage, everything like that's gonna run off of that one over there. So you can see those stubbed up over my left shoulder. We're gonna be wrapping up with rebar hydronic foam this week. We're gonna be pouring next week. That'll be a separate video altogether. It's 120 meters. Everything's kind of teed up for a week from today. So we really got to get a move on for this. Hydro services being organized. We also have the well that we have to put in, and the septic will be falling on later in the springtime when it's a little bit better weather, because who wants to do that right now? Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next time.